Good morning, folks. We can certainly feel the amazing energy in this room. Bonjour, mes amis. My name is Bea Bruske, and I'm the president of the Canadian Labour Congress, representing over 3 million workers. I have the honor and the privilege of representing 3 million workers from coast to coast to coast. And I want to start us off in a good way today by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples, and by reminding each other that reconciliation means that every single day in our thoughts and in our actions, we need to be committed to reconciliation and to be focused on action. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with all of you this morning and to welcome you all. I'm excited that we get to be here with one another, to talk and to share ideas. And of course, to hear from Jagmeet about our shared vision, our goals, and our plans. I love Canada. I love the people who live here, and I believe very strongly in the promise of Canada, what it can and what it should be, and that it is and can be the best place in the world to live, work, play, and to raise a family. But all of you are seeing what I'm seeing. Canada is not living up to its potential right now. Parents with little ones are worried about their child ending up in an emergency room that's overcrowded and understaffed. Families are frustrated by the rising cost of living and falling further and further behind. It's harder to find affordable places to live, but my friends, I have hope. And one of those reasons for my hope is our leader, Jagmeet Singh, and the NDP. Jagmeet has already delivered and is on his way to continue to deliver historic wins for workers in Canada. I'm talking about the 10 paid sick days. Those 10 paid sick days make a difference to working Canadians. I'm talking about anti-scab legislation. And I'm talking about getting workers real help to get through these days of the pandemic. And we all know that the game changer and where we have also delivered and where Jagmeet has delivered is dental care for families. But with Jagmeet, we know this is just the tip of the iceberg because I know his core values, because they're my core values too. We believe in workers' rights. We believe that everyone deserves a home. And we believe that healthcare is a human right, not a commodity that's for sale. And we believe that in Canada, it's time for Canada to have a government that stands up for working people. Jagmeet is a leader who puts people first. He is a leader who inspires us. I am inspired by his vision. I'm excited by his plans. And working people in this country absolutely know that we are lucky that he's got our back. So please let me welcome our friend and leader, Jagmeet Singh.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hey. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bea. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I also want to acknowledge the traditional territories that we're gathered on, the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe. And much like Bea mentioned, I feel like it's a moment for us to reflect whenever we acknowledge the territories. And for me, it's a moment to reflect on the injustice that Indigenous people have faced, historically continue to face, and it's a moment for us to collectively commit to remedying that injustice. I don't only want to thank Bea for her incredible introduction. I also want to thank you, Bea, for your leadership. You've been an incredible voice for working people. Bea has been someone who's been a champion and a fighter, and I just want to thank Bea so much for being here. I also want to acknowledge that the partnership between Labour and the New Democratic Party is more important now than it's been in generations. And I'm proud to say it's stronger now than it's been in generations. We have incredible community members that are joining us this morning, leaders, and I want to acknowledge those leaders, folks that are fighting for their communities, fighting to make their communities a better place. And I want to thank you for all you do, and thank you for being here. And I really want to thank my incredible caucus team. I have incredible colleagues, and I want you all to get to know them even better. These are folks that are fighting every day for their communities, fighting for Canadians. And I have the honor of calling them not just my colleagues, but my friends. These are MPs that know what everyday families are going through. You are folks that listen, care, and fight like hell. These are the MPs that are on the Hill that don't work for the ultra-rich and powerful. You're the folks that work for people. And I'm honored to call you my colleagues and friends. Thank you. And we're here. We're here to work together for a plan for 2023 and beyond, a plan to help every Canadian thrive. And we have a vision for Canada. I want to lay out this vision, a vision where there are good jobs and working people's incomes are enough to afford to pay the bills, a fridge stocked with healthy food and savings for the future, and that everyone is able to find a safe and affordable home that fits their family. We envision healthcare that's ready for you when you need it. Hospitals that are properly staffed so workers always have the time to listen and to care. Healthcare that includes dental care and prescription medicine. Because we believe no one should have to rack up bills in order to stay healthy. I join First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities in imagining a future where Canada lives up to its treaty obligations. Treaty obligations on clean water, healthcare, mental health, housing, and education, where Indigenous women, girls, and non-binary people are safe from violence, and there's justice for missing and murdered sisters. J'imagine un gouvernement qui prend la crise climatique au sérieux. L'avenir que je souhaite à ma fille n'est pas fait de chaleur insupportable, de communautés inondées et des tempêtes néfastes. C'est un avenir où les maisons de tous nos enfants et petits-enfants sont sûres. Un avenir où ils pourront boire l'eau, nager dans les lacs et respirer l'air de façon sécuritaire. But sadly, that's not what's happening right now. Right now, Canadians are faced with some difficult times. As Bea was mentioning, the cost of living is going up. Your groceries are expensive and more every month. Rent is sky high, mortgage rates are hiked again and again, and the price of a home is out of reach for so many families. You wait 8, 10, 15 more hours at the emergency room to get the care that you or your loved one needs. And you can't even find cold medicine for your children. And on top of that, right now it feels like there's this war against workers. And the Liberals are using the Bank of Canada to blame people's wages for inflation. Wages aren't even keeping up with inflation. People are doing everything right, but still falling behind. Unlike their paychecks, they see big corporations' profits going up twice as fast as inflation. And they know that's greedflation. And of course, Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre won't say a word about multi-billion-dollar companies raking in massive profits. Their billionaire CEO friends are making record profits. Loblaws alone has profits that have increased by 29%. Grocery chains, the corporate chains across this country, are raking in millions in extra windfall profits every week by charging Canadians $40 for a pack of chicken. They're using inflation as cover to pad their profits. And it's not just groceries. It's everything we buy. It's our mortgage, rent, cell phone bills. Justin Trudeau n'est pas là pour les familles des travailleurs et il ne comprend à quel point l'inflation et l'avarice font mal. Il est déconnecté de ce que les gens vivent. Mais les PDG et les grandes entreprises ont son oreille. Ils sont dans son petit cercle privilégié. Last month, when we proposed the idea of, again, putting a windfall tax on the wealthiest corporations profiting off the backs of people, he dismissed the idea as simply too simplistic. A windfall tax that could be used as a disincentive to gouge shoppers, he said, no, it's too simplistic, can't do it. Seriously? Other governments across the world have stood up to corporate greed with the windfall tax, including the United Kingdom, even under a conservative government, because it works. The truth is, Justin Trudeau doesn't want a windfall tax or penalties for gouging consumers or even proper competition laws. He's never going to make them pay what they owe. And he's never going to stop big corporations from making billions of dollars exploiting and off the backs of workers. We learned this week that one of the firms in Justin Trudeau's inner circle, McKinsey & Company, has been handed $101 million by the Trudeau government. $101 million that could have put over 1,000 more nurses on the front lines for a year. And we all know that government after government has pulled the same nonsense. When conservatives are in power, they give their insiders contracts. When the liberals are in power, their friends get contracts. The Prime Minister's inner circle includes corporations like McKinsey and the Loblaw's empire, and it shows. The reality is, every victory for real Canadians, dental care, anti-scab legislation, bigger GST rebates, these were things that liberals and conservatives fought against until the NDP forced Mr. Trudeau to do the right thing. And of course, I should probably go without saying, but of course, Pierre Poilievre is not the answer. Just last week, I mean, if you needed any more evidence, he went to Winnipeg to spend time with health privatization pushers, the Frontier Centre. And promoting for-profit healthcare isn't all that the Frontier Centre does. Sadly and pretty seriously, they have denied that residential schools hurt children. They deny that climate crisis is human-made. And Pierre Poilievre chose that group in particular to go to and to speak in front of. En tant que ministre du gouvernement de Stephen Harper, Pierre Poilievre a tout fait pour combattre les travailleurs. Il a voté 2 fois contre le salaire minimum. Et bien qu'il bénéficie d'une pension à vie depuis l'âge de 31 ans, il a passé son temps à rendre la retraite des travailleurs plus difficile. Pierre Poilievre plans to cut your pension and your social safety net. And who benefits from that? Who benefits from cutting CPP in EI? Not you, not workers. Rich CEOs and their companies will take in more than $500 million away from your pensions and add it to their profits instead. More bonuses for the very biggest bosses. He's here for them. He will cut what you need in order to give them what they want, from your pension to your health care. We envision a Canada where healthcare is ready for you when and where you need it, where nurses and doctors and frontline healthcare workers are respected and there's enough of them so you don't have to wait. Hear, hear. That's what we need. But we know that's not what's happening right now. Right now, parents are so worried about the state of healthcare in our country, they're anxious to leave the home with their little ones. There is nothing in this world more important to all of us than the health of our babies and our loved ones. But while people are waiting in pain hour after hour, Justin Trudeau leaves us to fend for ourselves. While healthcare workers are run off their feet, working endless hours of overtime and leaving the profession in droves, the Prime Minister stalls in funding because of a standoff with the provinces. While for-profit health corporations like Maple get away with charging Canadians credit cards to access health care, Mr. Trudeau turns his back and pretends not to see. While Daniel Smith and Doug Ford and Heather Stephenson launch a mission to privatize public universal Canadian health care, Justin Trudeau does nothing, and Pierre Poilievre cheers them on. In fact, the Prime Minister has an opportunity right now to protect Medicare. While negotiating funding with the provinces, we all agree there should be strings attached, of course. I think one of those conditions has to be straight up no privatization. We want to make it clear. We want to make it clear, no for-profit corporations taking over healthcare, no billing patients for anything, no cannibalizing hospitals, sending their nurses and doctors to for-profit clinics. What are Justin Trudeau's conditions then? Apparently he's fine with Doug Ford's plan to sell off our healthcare. And Daniel Smith's plan to dismantle the very foundations of Medicare. Il ouvre la voie à des compagnies de soins médicaux à but lucratif à l'américaine. Il sait que les infirmières quitteront les hôpitaux pour travailler dans des cliniques privées et que les gens attendront plus longtemps. Il sait que les patients recevront une facture pour les frais, pour les consultations, pour tout ce que ces compagnies peuvent vous faire payer. Il sait que ce qui arrivera aux soins de santé est exactement ce qui est arrivé aux soins de longue durée. Le résultat financier détermine la façon dont les gens sont traités. And that's wrong. Ignoring the healthcare crisis is wrong. Pretending to see conservatives and pretending not to see conservatives and their for-profit CEO friends chomping at the bit at this opportunity to make money in our healthcare system is wrong. That's not what leadership looks like. Leadership means showing up and getting to work on solutions. Solutions like training more nurses and doctors, investing in our public system that's already there, getting licenses for healthcare workers from other countries who have international training, and get them ready to work here in our hospitals, in our publicly funded system.
Hear, hear.
Leadership is investing in home care and long-term care, so our elders aren't spending months waiting in hospital beds trying to find a spot. And finally, investing in mental health so people get the care and the treatment that they need. There is something standing in the way of cuts and privatization and for-profit corporations squeezing workers' paychecks and attacking their rights. And it's not Justin Trudeau, it's working people and their unions, and the NDP, and the power of solidarity. We saw this solidarity. We saw the power of people coming together, workers and unions coming together, when the Conservative agenda was defeated by workers who rose up against Doug Ford's union-busting attempt to take away the right to collectively bargain. We saw the power of people coming together when the Conservatives' agenda was smacked down in the midterm election in the United States. Workers are organizing across the country, in Starbucks, in Amazon, in public and private sectors. Ford, Poilievre, and greedy CEOs have been put on notice. It's time for workers to finally get the respect they deserve. I believe that union membership and a union membership card is the fastest ticket to stability and prosperity. Other parties, all of them, should get that it should be easier, not harder, to join a union. New Democrats have always stood shoulder to shoulder with working people. Défendre les droits des travailleurs, ce n'est pas quelque chose que nous faisons seulement quand ça nous arrange et que nous ignorons quand les riches et les puissants viennent frapper à la porte, comme les libéraux et les conservateurs. Plus de pouvoir dans les mains des travailleurs, plus de travailleurs ayant des salaires justes et de meilleures conditions de travail signifie moins de gens qui font de l'insomnie parce qu'ils ne savent pas comment ils vont joindre les deux bouts à la fin du mois. Cela signifie moins de gens ayant besoin de 3 emplois juste pour survivre. You know, I think a lot about how that feels to be worried about making ends meet. I think back to the time when I had to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet and take care of my family. I remember when my brother and I were living together. I was a young 20-year-old and my brother was 15. And I was still trying to figure out things, and I had to take my brother to come live with me. And I remember the call I got from my mom saying, hey, things are tough, and Dad's not able to work anymore. He was struggling with an addiction. And he said, you're on your own? I said, no problem, I got this. But I remember the fear that I had. I was confident to my mom. I didn't want her to worry. But I remember being really afraid that if I don't make ends meet, if I don't put enough food on the table, it's not just me that's going hungry, it's my kid brother. And the thought of my kid brother, my little kid brother, going hungry was something that kept me up at night, made me really worried in my stomach. And I remember, and I don't know if these folks know this, but one of my brother's friends who had a friends and family discount at a grocery store, the times that discount made the difference between us eating and not. The times that one of my brother's friends who loved pierogies, I guess, made a big bag of pierogies for us and sent it home. And we had to come up with all sorts of recipes on how to like make pierogies. They're delicious, but when you have a lot of it, you've got to figure out ways to make that enjoyable for a long time. But I don't know if they know, that mom knows that food meant the difference for me and my brother, like being able to eat. And I know that a lot of people have friends and family they can rely on, and a lot of people don't. And right now, it's one of those times that people are relying on that support because it's getting hard to afford groceries. And I know what that's like. Peu importe à quel point ils travaillent dur, les gens ont l'impression que le système est truqué contre eux, et ils ont raison. Je n'oublierai jamais ce sentiment d'avoir peur de ne pas arriver et subvenir aux besoins de mon petit frère. Worrying that I wasn't able to handle the bills or put food on the table, even though I was working really hard, is something that I don't want anyone to feel. That's why I'm in politics, to make sure that it's not that way. Because workers are the backbone of our country and they deserve respect. If you work a job in this country, you shouldn't go hungry. You should not have a home. You should be able to live with dignity and respect. There is no growth without workers. There's no profit without workers. Yet working folks are told again and again that companies can't raise their wages to keep up with inflation. Governments tell you that they can't afford to pay healthcare workers what they deserve, so nurses end up leaving. They tell you we can't afford to maintain the social safety net. Those are all lies. Pierre Poilievre claims that everything in this country is broken. He makes that claim so that people think the only solution left is to tear it all down. Tear down our public universal health care, tear down our social safety net like pensions and EI, leave people to struggle on their own. On the other hand, Justin Trudeau wants you to think that everything is fine. He thinks that paying $40 for chicken is fine, and that's a fault of the supply chains anyway. He thinks that waiting 10 hours or more in the ER is normal, and that's really just a premier's problem anyway. It's not fine. It's not normal, and it is the job of the Prime Minister to make Canada better. It's not the job of the Prime Minister to find someone else to blame. It's to look for solutions to make things better for Canadians. Faire preuve de leadership, ce n'est pas trouver des excuses pour ne pas agir quand les choses vont mal. C'est trouver des solutions et agir. C'est ça que les gens méritent, rien de moins. We've seen what's possible when we use our power as New Democrats to force the government to help people. We have proven that it's possible to give every child in this country a chance to see the dentist. We have we've proven that we can stop kids' pain and tears from toothaches no matter how much a parent earns. Every child under 12 that qualifies in our country is now eligible for $1,300 to get their teeth fixed. And ultimately, when it's all done, this program that we put forward will cover between 7 and 9 million Canadians. We used our power to deliver the biggest expansion of our healthcare system since Medicare. We proved it can be done. Nous avons également forcé les libéraux à doubler les remboursements de TPS. Nous avons prouvé qu'il est tout à fait possible de rendre aux gens qui en ont le plus besoin un peu plus de leur propre argent. We fought for help with rent, and now lower-income Canadians can get a check of $500 to help. We showed that it's possible. We proved that Canadians can lower, that we proved that our country, as a country, we can lower families' childcare fees by hundreds of dollars a month, that childcare can be nonprofit and public and focus on children, and we can guarantee it in legislation so that it'll be there for generations of families to come. We proved that. Et nous avons travaillé avec les syndicats pour obtenir pour les travailleurs 10 jours de congé de maladie payés. Pouvez-vous imaginer si Justin Trudeau avait cessé de se battre contre nous et s'était rallié au congé de maladie payés avant le pire de la pandémie? Et s'ils avaient arrêté de se battre contre les travailleurs et l'NPD plus rapidement sur des choses comme les soins dentaires et les remboursements de la TPS, les familles auraient pu avoir moins de nuits blanches et plus d'argent dans leur poche. This year, the NDP will deliver more. There's more to come in 2023. We're going to deliver dental care coverage for teenagers, for seniors, and people with disabilities. I want to make sure that no one ever again has to skip medication doses or end up cutting their pills in half just to make the battle last longer. And to move us towards that goal, the NDP will deliver the next steps on a national universal pharmacare plan this year. We'll finally get the anti-scab legislation in place so good, mortgage-paying, unionized jobs are better protected. Okay. And we're going to keep on pushing the Trudeau government to step up for people this year in new ways, to step up and deal with the healthcare crisis instead of ignoring it, to step up and deal with the cost of living crisis instead of propping up corporate greed. I'm proud of what we're delivering for Canadians. But let's be clear, I'm not satisfied because I've seen what's possible. We've proven that more is possible. I've seen how government after government has withheld real help and hope that Canadians deserve. And I know it doesn't have to be this way. I'm going to fight. We're going to fight together as a team for every last thing we force this government to agree to, and then some. This NDP caucus is going to fight like hell for workers and families. Yes, we are. We're going to push every day for action to bring down inflation. We're going to protect the environment and fix and expand universal, public Canadian healthcare. We're going to fight. We're going to fight for every bit of help and hope we can win for Canadians. And then I'm going to run for Prime Minister of Canada. Yeah. Thank you. Because we've seen what's possible. I've seen what's possible. Imagine what we can do with a prime minister who actually listens to workers instead of the powerful and the ultra wealthy. Imagine a prime minister who does what's best for families, not what's best for billionaires. When I'm prime minister, instead of cutting and privatizing healthcare, we'll work with provinces to train and hire more doctors and nurses and primary healthcare providers. We'll recognize the credentials of doctors and nurses that have studied and worked in other countries. We'll partner in stabilizing and expanding healthcare, cutting wait times, and making sure care is always there for you when you need it.
Hear, hear.
Right? We'll finish the work of making sure that prescription drugs and dental care are there for everyone so that no matter who you are, no matter how much you earn, you can walk away from the doctor's office or the dentist's office not worrying about how you're going to have to pay the bills or worrying about having to go into debt. So people don't have to worry about the price. Everyone should be able to get their teeth taken care of. No one should have to worry about health care, meaning more debt on your credit card. When I'm prime minister, we'll fight for workers, not the powerful. We will create jobs with good wages and make sure your pension is protected. We'll make it easier to join a union. We'll introduce a new EI system that actually covers what you need when you need it. We'll make Canada more affordable for middle-class families, not more profitable for billionaires. I'll make CEOs finally start paying what they owe. Right. When I'm prime minister, you won't pay GST on your home heating. We'll tackle grocery prices with anti-gouging laws and a windfall tax that takes away the incentive of price gouging. We'll deliver on commitments, Canada's commitments to make made to Indigenous people for clean water, for safe and decent housing and health care, and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and non-binary people and their families.
Hear, hear.
Et quand je serai Premier ministre, nous combattrons la crise climatique comme si nous voulons vraiment gagner. Oui. Au lieu de donner des milliards aux grands groupes pétroliers et gaziers, nous ferons en sorte que tout le monde ait accès à un logement sécuritaire et abordable, plutôt que de laisser les riches investisseurs traiter les marchés immobiliers comme un casino. My friends, we know it's possible. Just like Jack used to say, don't let them tell you it can't be done. If we lift each other up together, we all rise. Thank you. Merci. Congrats. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Merci. Merci.